Jay's Custom Creations is sponsored by Bits and Bits. Use the code JBates to save 10% off your next router bit or CNC bit purchase at bitsbits.com. I've always been kind of a tinker person, like to use my hands to tinker with stuff. And in 2012, the summer-ish of 2012, I started a Facebook page called Jay's Custom Creations. And then it blossomed into this media business that's been going strong over the past 11 or so years. And during that time, I have basically been the only one in the household who likes to create things, likes to tinker, work with my hands. Until recently, we got this machine. It's an xTool P2. We've got 3 videos to make for them. That's some upcoming content. But while making the videos for this, my wife fell into the laser engraving rabbit hole and started her own business. Has been making all kinds of stuff to sell. Has been keeping me busy by trying to get her going with this business. And it's just been a blessing and a curse. I want my wood shop back. One other blessing with all of this is that while she is going to be using this and is using this to generate revenue and create a new business, that's super awesome. Another super awesome aspect of that is she's also homeschooling our daughter. And this is going to be an absolutely great economics class for her, learning profit and loss, cost analysis, just every aspect of running a business. And both of those new ventures in our life, her business, this opportunity to teach our daughter, it's exciting to me. I really, really, really like it. And now all 3 of us are creating. So win-win-win-win-win situation. The only non-win situation is I want my shop back, so I need to make a cart for this and get it in the house. I picked up 2 sheets of 3/4-inch MDF, 6 2-inch casters. I'll use some wood glue and some various size screws. Let's jump into the computer and I'll show you the design really quick. Very, very basic. This wireframe up here at the top, this is the overall dimensions of the xTool P2 with riser base. And below it is the design. The design is very simple. It's a glorified box is all this is with some features. The construction or the assembly is with all of these finger joint intersections. So each piece will overlap the adjoining pieces and you just nail or screw it together. Very, very simple. The back panel, as you can see, has an opening on the top for the exhaust to come into the inside of this box and then go into the smoke capturer thingy-majig, I forget the name of it, the air purifier, and then exhaust out this hole down here at the bottom. Inside, you'll see a bunch of other holes on either side over here, as well as on this side over here for a cable management pass-through. On the P2, the USB port is on this side, so in my assembly table that I'm currently using, I put the USB cable down through the table and then popped it up on this side where my laptop was, and I'll keep that same concept going with this design. Over here, this is an extended top shelf for a laptop, a corner brace for some more support, and various holes for cable management once again. This whole design can be flip-flopped, so it's CNC files. If you just grab the entire CNC file, which is not this at all, and you simply flip it horizontally, then you now have the opposite side with all the features where they need to be. So keep that in mind. If that's something you're interested in, is having the laptop on the other side, you can completely flip the model with no problems. There's going to be the casters on the bottom. Very simple construction, not much to say, so let me go ahead and get this stuff loaded up and we'll start cutting.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
part is done, and I am this close, this little itty bitty close, which is also about 1 week, away from getting this out of the shop and into the house in its final destination, where it'll be much less dusty, and my wife can use it at her convenience. My daughter can use it at her convenience. They can learn from it. They can be creative with it. They can make some side revenue with it. I'm just so excited about that all of that. That's just really, really exciting on many levels for me. I'm waiting on getting an air vent built, or building an air vent for the window to exhaust this air outside. In the shop, this doesn't really stink up this shop too bad. You can still smell what you're cutting a little bit, especially something like tempered hardboard. You can really smell that stuff. But in the house, I think that smell is going to be concentrated into a smaller room, and I just don't want to deal with that, so I'm going to exhaust the air outside. In the meantime, it has to stay in here where there is a wall vent where I can pull air out of here, exhaust air out of this shop if it gets a little too obnoxious in here. So I'm waiting on that to get it out of here. We can use it here in the shop in the meantime. The project itself turned out exactly how I wanted it to, but assembling this was a nightmare for me. The reason being is the thickness of the MDF that I used is not a typical MDF thickness, right? So 3/4 inch MDF is typically 0.750 plus or minus 1 or 2 thousandths. It's a very, very consistent thickness, 0.750 inches. Very, very consistent thickness. This was 0.756. And I've never ran into a situation where MDF was this thick before. So I just used my typical value of 0.750 inches for the 3D modeling of this project on the computer before cutting it out. Therefore, all of my pieces were 6 thousandths of an inch too thick. 2 sides to each one of the joints means all of the joints were 12 thousandths of an inch away from fitting easily or properly. And you have, I think there's 12 joints, 11 or 12 joints total just on this top panel. That's a lot of conflicting geometry, and the way you get that done is just with a BFH, a big hammer, right? So that's what I did to assemble it. I just pounded everything home. It got a little sloppy, but I sanded everything smooth, and it's a utilitarian project, so I just don't care. Keep that in mind, because if you take these free vector files to like a CNC shop to have one of these cut for you, have them verify that their material thickness for 3/4 inch MDF is indeed 0.750 inches, plus or minus 1,000th of an inch or two. And at that point, you shouldn't have much of an issue assembling this thing. So I initially planned on using glue and screws at every one of the joints. I basically just used screws because it was so darn tight. I did use glue at the this little triangular brace below the keyboard tray. Now, as far as features of this cart, this keyboard tray, I really, really like being on this side. If you want to have it on the other side, have the person cutting out your vectors or your parts, have them flip everything horizontal, and then you should have everything on the other side when you assemble it. I wanted it to be on this side. Now, if you do flip everything horizontal, keep in mind also that if you have this air cleaner cart, air cleaner thingy-majig, I can never remember this name, the amount of airflow knob is on the right side in this orientation. So if you scoot it over to this side, that knob is going to be up against this wall. Just something to take into consideration. Let me bring you in closer, and we'll just get a quick walk around the cart, and I'll show you what's going on. I went with 6 casters instead of 4 because I knew I wanted to go with the lower profile casters, which aren't rated for as much weight as higher casters, taller casters. So 6 instead of 4. This open space here is enough space for the air cleaner, the conveyor, and all of the roller attachments. I have 4 more that are not pictured right here, but will still fit. And the inside up under here, there's a couple cable management ties that I put in place for the USB cable to go from that side over there to the laptop over here. It's just a big, open, empty box. On this side is a duplicate set of mortises for that triangular brace. So it's just easier to model one and copy it from side to side. This side doesn't need these. They're a little redundant, whatever. But there's a bunch of holes right here for miscellaneous cable management for whatever you got to do. And as you can see, the USB cable that I'm using comes down right here, goes through this hole. Like I said, it goes to that side. Plenty of surface area, some structure to mount like a power strip or whatever you want to mount to this side over here. We really liked the height of working off of my assembly table, so I basically copied those height dimensions. This surface to the floor is 33 3/8 of an inch. Add 12 inches from this working surface to the opening right here in the door, and that is 45 3/8 of an inch from here to the floor. I think that that's a decent working height for us. No problems there. All of these holes, extra holes that are in this horizontal surface for cable management, I think are going to work out just fine, especially if you want to put a little cell phone charger right here, which is probably what we're going to do. So if you like to use a wired mouse like I do, you'll appreciate being able to put the wire down and then right back up through the same hole, so all of the slack is down below up against that wall, out of the way. The cable management for the machine connection itself is out of the way, not going to be snagged. Yeah, not going to be snagged on anything. Of course, this is the laptop side, so you fold your laptop down and you still have access to the storage on the right side of the machine, which is where they put the rotary in their promo videos, and it makes sense. Just put the rotary right there. I don't even know if it says it in the instruction manual to store it there, but yay for that. So that's done. I really like this whole cart setup, and I'm glad I have my assembly table back. That's it for this video. If you'd like to stay up to date with everything that I publish, go to my website, jscustomcreations.com/newsletter, and sign up for my email newsletter. While you're there, you can pick up the free vectors to this cart, have it cut out somewhere locally if you don't have access to a large format CNC machine. You guys take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you in the next video.